Oprah held a virtual town hall to discuss some issues ranging from police brutality in the wake of George Floyd's death to systemic racism in America. Take a look at what she had to say.
I don't recall a moment quite like this one, because we find our nation on a precipice, a true tipping point, I believe. And just like all of you, for the past few weeks, I've been talking and Zooming with friends, and the same question keeps popping up over and over. Is this the moment that will finally change our country, where people recognize systemic racism for the problem and the evil that it is?
Is titled, "Where do we go from here?" And it included guests like actor David Oyelowo. He said he found it so hard to explain George Floyd's death to his son. It's heartbreaking. Take a look.
I went to speak to my son and I didn't have the words because George Floyd wasn't resisting arrest. So it's not like saying to my son, put your hands on the dash, don't be confrontational. Those conversations are already emasculating to basically say, forget about justice in an interaction with the police. Yes. Come home alive.
What do you think of this, Erica, the dialogue that they're having and the fact that they're saying we don't know where we go from here? The question is on the table.
Well, the fact that Oprah said, is this it and where do we go? Definitely gave me a sigh of relief, because I'm like, well, if Oprah don't know, then why am I expecting myself to know? I mean, let's be honest.
It's so true.
And that's what we're feeling right now, especially for those of us who are in front of the camera during a time, who are Black, during a time that this is the question. We are in the beginning of a revolution, and we're asking ourselves the same thing. Is this it? Do we start, like, is it go time? And like, yeah, it's go time. But then you're like, well, where do you go? Right. And then you have all these people coming at you, like, asking me, well, Erica, where do I go? And then I'm looking at Oprah like, Oprah, tell us where to go. And Oprah's like, y'all, where do we go? Like, I mean, let's just be honest about this, okay? I think that what is important is that we are having the conversations, that I have gotten accessibility to people who I really respect and trust, so that I'm getting guidance and we're having this discussion together. And I think that that's what's important, is that we all need to have this very uncomfortable, for many, discussion together. And if we can do that, then we can open and break so many barriers and decide collectively, and also understand that there are a multitude of different ways that you can be effective. All of the things that people are doing aren't necessarily the things that we're seeing the most visibly.
That's right.
But they're still effective. So just find what's your gift.
Find your lane.
Your lane in order to make real change.
I love that. Al, I have to ask you, just what Erica was saying, do you feel a certain overwhelming responsibility as a Black man in the media to have it all answered? I mean, let's lay it out there. It's DBL.
Well, you know, Erica hit it on the head when you say that you don't know. I've talked to all my homies for hours about this, and it just shows you how all-encompassing this system has been for everyone living underneath it. White, Black, brown, everyone has been living under this system where you just kind of accept that, yeah, the Black people go to jail at an incredible rate, more than anybody else. Stop and frisk. Oh, yes, you hear these numbers. 700,000 people were stopped within a square mile area over the course of a couple weeks. Well, those are the breaks. And now it's like, you know what? It's not. But you know what I always say is it's amazing how quickly things can become normalized, like equality, like justice. I just went up and picked up a prescription from Walgreens just now, and the aisle I walked down to walk out was the greeting card aisle, and there was a huge blow-up of a gay male couple on there, and I just looked and I was like, oh, okay, cool. Imagine what that would have looked like in 1991. Imagine what it would look like to say, I'm having an all gluten-free birthday party for my 10-year-old. 10 years ago. No one would know what you were talking about. Now it couldn't be more normal. So I think people will be surprised how quickly most people do want everybody to have an equal shot at having a good life.
I completely agree. We owe the mothers of those poor families that lost their children a new normal. We owe it to them. It has to happen.